The Resurrection of Lazarus. Our reading comes from John 11. Here is a summary of the chapter. Lazarus of Bethany, the brother of Mary and Martha, was very sick. Mary was the one who had anointed Jesus' feet with oil. The sisters sent word to Jesus, telling him that Lazarus, whom he loved, was sick. Jesus stated that the sickness would not end in death, but was for God's glory. Despite this, he waited 2 days before going to Judea. Jesus announced to his disciples that Lazarus had fallen asleep and needed to be awakened, clarifying later that Lazarus had died. When Jesus arrived, Lazarus had been in the tomb for 4 days. Many Jews were comforting Mary and Martha. Martha expressed her belief that if Jesus had been there, Lazarus would not have died. Jesus assured her that Lazarus would rise again, proclaiming himself as the resurrection and the life. Mary echoed Martha's words, and seeing her sorrow, Jesus was deeply moved and wept. Jesus went to the tomb, instructed the stone to be removed, prayed, and called Lazarus to come out. Lazarus emerged, bound in grave clothes, and Jesus instructed the people to unbind him. Many Jews believed in Jesus after witnessing this miracle, but some reported it to the Pharisees. The chief priests and Pharisees gathered, concerned that Jesus' miracles would lead to Roman intervention. Caiaphas, the high priest, suggested it was better for one man to die for the people. From that moment, they plotted to kill Jesus. Jesus retreated to Ephraim with his disciples. As the Passover approached, people in Jerusalem speculated about his attendance, while the chief priests and Pharisees issued orders to seize him if he appeared. John 11 is filled with sadness. The sad news of a dear friend's illness, the weeping over his death. The sisters lament that Lazarus would not have died if Jesus had been present, and Jesus' own tears. But Jesus had delayed 2 days before starting his journey to Lazarus, even indicating that he was glad that he had not gone earlier. This action was not from any cold-heartedness. Rather, it was to reveal God's glory. By the time we get to John 11 verses 17 to 27, Lazarus had been dead 4 days. After 4 days, his body would already be rotting, and as Martha said, "Lord, by this time there is a stench, for he has been dead 4 days." No doubt, Jesus' delay only helped to make the miracle that followed even more astonishing. To raise a rotting corpse? What more proof could Jesus have given that indeed he was God himself? And as God, as the one who created life to begin with, Jesus had power over death. Thus, Jesus uses this opportunity, that of Lazarus' death, to reveal a crucial truth about himself. I am the resurrection and the life. Whoever believes in me, though he die, yet shall he live, and everyone who lives and believes in me shall never die. Just as Jesus showed, he is the light of the world by giving the blind man sight in John 9 verse 7. So here he raises Lazarus from the dead, demonstrating that he is the resurrection and the life. This miracle, more than any other, points to Jesus as the life giver, as God himself. It provides strong support for John's theme that Jesus is the divine Son of God, and that, by believing, we can have life through him. However, by the time we get to the end of this incredible story, in which many who saw believed, a powerful but sad irony unfolds. Jesus shows that he can bring the dead back to life, and yet, these men think that they can stop him by killing him? What an example of the foibles of humanity in contrast to the wisdom and power of God.